Hello guys, today we are going to be rewriting World War One. I mean obviously we're not actually going to be writing, but you get it. As you know, the real World War One started when when an Austro-Hungarian duke was assassinated. What was his name again? I forgot. Sorry, that was a bit silly of me. Yeah. Austria. Get it. So basically, that duke this time goes to Belgrade, which I think is like here. Sorry, here. And I think so. If it's not, sorry, I'm a silly Billy, but yeah. So the duke does that, says his thing. Eventually, he's assassinated, and then yeah. I think you get it now. So that is what happened. Anyways, so eventually Austria-Hungary decide, you know what? So for over a year, roughly, they have multiple meetings throughout with Serbia, and they're like, "Did you kill my leader?" Because this is a very serious offense that has happened. They don't think it was those people were commanded by the government for now, but eventually Serbia has had enough of these, and they're tired of being suspected, and they do this. There you go. So yeah, that's quite a big thing that just happened. I guess let the war commence. So we see Serbia began crossing into Austria-Hungary, capturing a bunch of land on the west. Over in the east, they used the station troops in Belgrade, attack troops specifically, and began sending them out here. They still have this crossing, I guess. But Serbia will make sure Austria-Hungary does not successfully launch an offensive through that crossing. They eventually get another country to join, Montenegro. They start seeing Montenegro sending troops to these coasts here, and obviously it's going to be a lot more successful because the Bosnians are still not happy being under the Austro-Hungarian rule. Eventually, we see both countries begin working together to push back Austria-Hungary in these areas. And yeah, they meet up successfully. They begin making, spreading it out, like their occupation, and it goes well. So yeah. However, this is where Austria-Hungary starts participating, because before it has been seeming like they were going to win, because they have been winning. So Austria-Hungary began pushing them back. They managed to meet up, capture that division, and yeah. However, they don't cross through because they know it's basically a trap. Eventually, we see Germany join. So now we can see the war really escalated. Russia is going to begin sending troops into this area of Germany. I think it's called, what is it called again? Memel. Yeah, Memel. Reached like the modern day Kaliningrad border roughly. So that's good. However, eventually German troops meet up. They start defending the area. However, they do lose a bit more land in East Germany, mainly in the very east, which makes sense. Yeah. Okay. We do see a different country join, and that is Romania. So Romania began sending troops to this area of Austria-Hungary, and it goes quite successfully. They won Transylvania quite badly. So as you know, Austria-Hungary is a very diverse place. It has a bunch of different ethnicities amongst their people and stuff. And one of the main things is like Transylvania, okay, that was bad. Transylvania, kind of like that. It will make Romania look like a fish in the modern day with like the TC, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. Basically, I'm pretty sure it's full of Romanians, and yeah, Romania thinks they deserve it, but obviously Austria-Hungary is never going to tell it, so they've declared war. And using the Serbian and Russian aid to the advantage, mainly Russian, but yeah, they managed to get a fair up here a bit. So far the red team is winning. However, we're going to see the first attack take place. So we see the German Empire and Austria-Hungary begin crossing in here, and it's not looking good for Russia. As you know, in real life, technically Russia lost this war because, like Austria-Hungary, they're quite big, but they're a lot bigger and they're really diverse as well. So they could technically really just collapse at any moment. However, they're managing to keep the empire together, the Tsar together. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah. However, these guys are moving fast. They're not giving Russia any time. This is a bloody war. Like a very bloody one. A lot of people are dying, unfortunately. A lot of recruitment happening and stuff like that. Yeah, you get it. Just overall negative things. So this is what the war is looking like right now. And at this point, like the beginning of the war it's starting to come to an end. It's starting to get to the more like bad part of the war. This is where a lot of the European nations will start to join. France, Belgium, even the British Empire. Right now, the year is 1915. So those other countries I mentioned, they're joining a bit late, but they're still joining. So we're going to see France be the first one to join. And obviously they're joining on Russia's side because, they tried to convince the British Empire to join, but they're a bit too bit too busy right now, so they're not going to accept. Anyway, let's go back here. Let's see how it's looking. So yeah, that's quite interesting is all I'm going to say. So yeah, a lot just happened very fast there. So you can see Serbia managed to create like a whole front line. Montenegro and Serbia here did a lot. And obviously Montenegro successfully took a lot of the Bosnian coast. So yeah, that was good. So they're doing much better than you would have expected. And so far, Russia is the only one they've started invading. Anyways, in this timeline, the German Empire doesn't make the mistake of invading Belgium. So this war is going to play out a bit differently. France can't really push into Alsace-Lorraine. Germany is not even going to try pushing past the current borders, obviously. That's how it really works. So anyway, they are going to just continue their offensive in Russia. Oh wow, they took a lot of land. So you might be wondering, how did they manage to take that much so fast? And that's because there's some Polish propaganda taking place. Well, I mean, it's propaganda from the blue team, and the propaganda is being spread amongst the Polish people in Russia. So yeah, they're starting to rise up, they're starting to rebel, and some of them are even officially declaring that they're working with Austria-Hungary and German Empire, despite the two countries being much worse than Russia. Good thing that the Russians have managed to take those lands from Germany. However, they still have like mainland East Russia, if that makes sense. Like these lands here. And as a whole, they still have all of this. So yeah, you get it. Anyways, over in Romania, we start to see them invade further into Transylvania. However, in the north, they start to get pushed back by Austria-Hungary. Quite badly, actually. It hurts a lot. Yeah, not going very well. In those areas, they are completely kicked out. We even see Austria-Hungary begin pushing into these lands and capturing it for themselves. So yeah, that's not good. And they start to head north so that they can start another offensive in Russia, specifically modern-day Moldova. They encircle these lands here, and they should definitely capture them. Boom. Over here, we start to see the Austro-Hungarian push back Montenegro and some Serbian troops in this area. So yeah, it goes quite well for them. I think you get it by now. But over here, it's not going as well for them. At this point, it's starting to look like their downfall is coming in the Bosnian region, because they have been pushing a lot. And they are really taking land. There you go. So yeah, it's not looking very good for Austria-Hungary right now. Germany is doing great. I mean, they barely lost any land, and France can't really attack them. However, they are still sending naval aid to Russia and stuff. And this is where the German Navy stepped in. They start blocking French naval fleets. They start to avoid French supplies from reaching Russia. That sort of thing. So Russia is struggling a lot more. They're quite alone now. They don't really have like a powerful ally to help them. Romania not that bad. They have a lot of morale. Serbia has a lot of manpower, along with and they work well and closely with Montenegro, who is helping. But they're not strong, like a really strong ally. Russia needs countries like France, the UK, even Spain. So this is what World War I is looking like right now. But we still haven't got certain countries. Some of them aren't going to be joining this time. But let's just say the blue team had the new chance of beating the Balkans. The year is 1916. This is what the war is looking like right now. And we've just seen two new countries join, Bulgaria and the Ottoman Empire. So the war is going to have a big turn. Now the blue team is actually looking like they could potentially win. Once they take over the Balkans, they can focus all on Russia, and eventually France will be forced into capitulating, or even worse, just getting attacked from like basically all sides completely. Obviously, they're not going to attack with land they have like here, even if that's in the sea, here, or here. Obviously, they're going to use their navy, eventually make simultaneous landings, push inwards. Paris will be captured eventually, and they'll be forced to, lose and surrender. Yeah, you get it. So yeah, that's not what the red team needs right now. Anyways, we start to see these countries push into Serbia, and they also push into Romania as well. Mainly around this area, because Bulgaria does not want any advances towards Sofia or anything like that, which is their capital, which is around like here, I think. Oh wait, you can't see my thing. Around here, I think. Okay. Around here, I think. Maybe a bit more south, but you get it. Anyway, they continue pushing into Serbia. They help Austria-Hungary try to get to Belgrade by starting their own offensive. over here we see Austria-Hungary take their chance. They begin pushing back Serbia, and they create their own counter-offensive. So this is really looking bad for Serbia now. Before it was looking great, now it's looking really bad. So Austria-Hungary begin pushing into Serbia. They're using some amazing war tactics. Not that it's the best, but on the field, but yeah. They encircle this part of Serbia and meet up with Bulgaria. So this is really bad. At this point, we see these lands get cleared out, and I think at this point, Belgrade has been captured. So, yeah, Serbia is starting to fall. We see this piece of land get captured. We see land near them get captured in Romania. And at the point, eventually we see them be forced into pulling back these troops in here. But it's already too late, so this isn't really going to help them. But they'll take as much chances as they need. We see Austria-Hungary begin pushing into the west, mainly around the center, because of Montenegro possibly defending them. We see them successfully capture this. We see them push back Montenegro's advantage a bit. There's still some Serbian troops, but not as much. And eventually, we see Serbia capitulate. I know they're a very strong-willed country, but they just can't handle the pressure. Eventually, Montenegro's like, you know what, we can make a deal. So the same happens to them. So yeah, this is what the war is looking like now. Quite a lot of stuff happened, but yeah. Next, we start to see Bulgaria push into Romania. We see them try to get to Bucharest. It goes fairly well. They're pushing as hard as they can. They're pressuring the Romanian and the military. It actually goes quite successfully, that pressure plan, because now they start to get pushed back by Austria-Hungary too. And they were doing exquisitely here before. I would say exquisitely for them anyway. They even end up getting encircled here. And a lot of them are forced to escape into the homeland where it still hasn't been fully invaded yet. And yeah, completely pushed back. So yeah, looking bad now. However, we see a possible game changer, especially for the West, that might save them. We see Italy join the war. Oh yeah, I forgot to include Corsica, by the way, which is part of France. Anyways, so yeah, this is a big thing. Italy really just declared war on Austria-Hungary, but I'm not giving them their own color or anything. They basically are against all of the blue team. But the main opponent is Austria-Hungary, mainly because of Tyrol and some land here. I forgot what they're called, sorry. But yeah, I think you get it. We start to see Italian troops enter into South Tyrol. Yeah. They don't go too far outward because the Alps and stuff like that. But obviously, it's still successful. These are the Alps in this kind of area isn't as heavy, but obviously that's still very mountainous. But it goes successfully for Italy. They also begin pushing into these lands here. which is modern day Slovenia, and this area here is modern day Croatia. It's like a little, and it's connected by like a little, I guess, panhandle, you can say. They push along the coast, they begin spreading outwards, and it goes successfully overall. So yeah, now Austria-Hungary is at this point feeling a bit pressured. They have to deal with Russia, Italy, technically France, because French troops are helping Italy, and Romania. So they are feeling the most pressured. They have the most force on them. Germany doing okay, Bulgaria doing great, Ottoman Empire supporting Bulgaria, and yeah, overall it's going good and stuff. And France is really begging the British Empire to join. However, they're like, no, it's your own issue, deal with it. After all, France technically did willingly join the war, but they did it for a good thing. Anyway, we see Italy continue pushing into these areas. We see them eventually capture it completely. At this point, we start to see it. The country make land the order like, hey, you know, how about I get this and you get this, and I lose this, and you can gain some money and stuff like that. And eventually, they're like, you know what? Okay, let's agree to a treaty. So this is the final map. Oh wait, let me just quickly update some stuff. There you go. So this is the final map of World War One. The year is 19. Sorry. The year is 19. Oh god, sorry. The year is 1917. It's late 1917, and none of the Soviet stuff or anything else happened. But now we are going to look at a treaty. And there's our map. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want me to continue like this alternate history thing from using this map, then that's fine. I could do an alternate World War II from this, and yeah, I think you get it. But obviously there might not be any Hitler issues this time because Germany never went poor. In fact, they actually benefited a lot, and they're a lot more richer. Not that they weren't rich before, but yeah. Anyways, see you next time.